One thing we all have in common in our businesses is an objection that keeps us from getting the business. And if I were to ask what that number one objection is when you talk to people, what is it? Price, money. They don't want to spend the money. Okay? And another problem we have in doing business is that we use words that are specific to our industry. And occasionally I'm guilty of that. It's one of my pet peeves. And one of the things that I've thrown around here at B&I is pre-tax. How many of you actually know when I say pre-tax what that means? Okay, some of you actually do. I want to just take a couple minutes, and I've got some handouts here. If you want to pull this out, this one covers pre-tax, and I'm just going to take a couple minutes. Now, if you're a business owner and you have employees and you want to put Aflac in, how much is it going to cost you? Nothing. Okay, some of you actually listened the last time I talked. Okay, so it doesn't cost you anything. As a matter of fact, you'll actually save money. If you look at this page here, the sample on the left shows somebody with $500,000 payroll and no employee contributions to benefits, and their employee tax at $38,250. If they just added $30,000 worth of benefits in a year, and that comes out pre-tax, they'll save $2,295. So if I come into your business and we do put Aflac in, it's going to reduce your gross payroll, which will save some money on your bottom line. Now, let's talk about the actual employees themselves. That's what the other side is. Let's say you have employees you pay $12.50 an hour. 2 weeks' wages would be $1,000. If they're in a 25% tax bracket, that's $250. Their paycheck would be $750. And let's say that they're contributing $100 to their medical insurance. Their take-home pay is going to be $650. If you look below that, if that $100 comes out pre-tax, they're only being taxed on $900. So now you see the tax liability is $225. Now they have $675. So they get an extra $25 in their paycheck. Now, why do I do that? Guess what? They can buy a pretty nice Aflac. They can buy 1 or 2 plans for that $25. So the net effect, if I sit down with an employee and we put in a pre-tax program, and a lot of smaller companies don't put in a pre-tax program because they got to pay a CPA or somebody like Aaron money to do that. Aflac will do that at no cost to the business owner. So not only does it not cost the business owner any money, he saves money and his employees save money. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now everybody understands pre-tax, right? All right. Take your pens out that you got from Stan, right? I put a rate sheet in here for the accident plan. Now I chose the accident plan because we have a lot of people that have kids and they're out of school right now, and some of them are actually falling down, getting hurt, cuts, different things like that. I'm going to take the remainder of the time I have to go over this policy real quick, give you an understanding of it. But before I go into that, I'm going to do this backwards. Normally you talk about the product and then you talk about the price. So if we do something pre-tax, so if you have this white sheet here, you see an individual policy. It doesn't matter the age when you do it in a group basis. It's and now this would be an industry classification C. We basically have 3 different industry classifications. Office and clerical would be a little bit less. Like if it was at Jim's bank, they would have a little better rate. But if you're a truck driver or somebody that has an active lifestyle, or if the job you have is in that rate classification C, you see 666. Well, if that comes out pre-tax, the net difference in their paycheck would be $5. So if you've got people that are making $12.50 an hour, they can probably afford $5 a week for this accident plan that I'm going to cover. If they want to do husband and wife, instead of $873, the net out of pocket per paycheck would be $655. If you do a one-parent family, in other words, the husband's got good coverage and you want to just cover you and the kids, or the wife, $733 for that. And it doesn't matter if you have one child or 5 or 10, whatever, okay? The rate's the same. And if you do the entire family, $9.14. Now, I chose weekly. Obviously, if you get paid every 2 weeks, you double those or whatever. Let me just take a couple minutes in the time I have left to cover the accident plan. So this covers an individual 24/7. So if I get hurt on or off the job, I get paid. Now, if I'm an employer, I want to put this in because I have employees that get hurt off the job and they don't have something like this. They might bring that injury to the workplace and it turns into a workman's comp case. And so this will help reduce that. All the benefits would kick in, let's say the first of the month or whenever we decide to start the coverage, except the wellness benefit. There's a wellness benefit that pays $60 for, it could be a cancer screening, it could be an eye exam, physical, even a flu shot, and it's listed there. Everything else would kick in when the policy kicks in. So if somebody gets hurt, I had a guy yesterday that got 10 stitches in his thumb, okay? So he goes to the emergency room, that's $120. They do x-rays, it's $25. And all the money that we're talking about on this policy is paid directly to you. It doesn't go to the hospital and doctor, okay? Follow-up treatments are $35. Where this really helps out is when somebody ends up in the hospital. It pays $1,000 the very first day. Unless they end up in intensive care, then it's $2,000. If they end up in intensive care, they add another $400 per day, up to 15 days. And the hospital confinement benefit is $250 a day on top of that original $1,000. Then there are lump sum payments for the kind of injury you have. The more serious injury, the more you collect there. They have major diagnostics like CAT scans, MRIs are a couple $100. Pain management, physical therapy. You can see the benefits are pretty rich on this plan. And it doesn't matter if you have 3 or 4 kids. You can file as many claims as you have. There's no penalty when you file claims. It's not like car insurance. When you have an accident, the rates don't go up. You have a group rate, and you're locked in at that rate, okay? Blood and plasma, ambulance, transportation, family lodging, accidental death benefit. So a lot of coverage for not a lot of money, and you can also get this if you don't have 3 or more employees. You can get this policy on a direct basis at just a little bit more cost. Any questions? How am I doing time? Got a minute? Okay. And then the other brochure has a product overview on all the other products. So appreciate your time, and remember, don't wait till you're out of luck to get with the duck.